Why would a soul choose a short or traumatic life? Do these earth angels know they are earth angels? From what Spirit has told me over the years, there is a line infinitely long and around the block, lined up with very brave, old, evolved souls who are more than eager and willing to take on, take one for the team, as I like to say, and jump back into what we might call a compromised body for the sake of being helpful to another soulmate, okay, for the soulmate's growth and evolution, as well as their own. So perhaps this entails coming in with a physical handicap that limits them, okay, and as a result, those around them in certain ways. Or it entails mental health challenges that they may entail, a life full of hardship, pain, and suffering for them and, again, for those around them. Or it could be a relatively drama-free life, however, a life cut short by a tragic event. In all these cases, it generally turns out to be earth angels or more advanced souls who agreed to these challenging circumstances because they know that there is no such thing as death. And they also know that their role will only help to teach those around them the valuable lessons that they need to learn. So while in body, they typically do not know they're earth angels, okay? It's only usually after they transition back to the spirit world that they recall who they are and why they signed up for the mission. I do so many readings where spirits come through saying that they were deeply humbled at the remembering of the soul contract, okay? And that they really were very evolved, wise beings, even though it may have appeared otherwise because they had such a troubling existence on any level. So here's a great example. I have a client in Los Angeles, and I've worked with her a few times, and she lost 2 out of her 3 boys in their teenage years. I mean, talk about a very challenging soul contract, right? And so she told me that from the day her first son was born, she knew that he would only be here for a very short time. She just knew it. And it was like a deep soul knowing, but she also told me she had a very vivid dream before he was born showing her this, okay? So as Spirit explained, it was her soul's way of reminding her on a conscious level that it was exactly as God had planned, which better prepared her to deal with this tragic loss when it played out, okay? So she herself is an incredibly old soul. She is absolutely an earth angel from what I have gathered in the readings we've done. Okay. And so she was only able to survive this type of soul contract, honestly, because of her innate soul wisdom. That saying, God only gives us what we can handle. So she really was equipped to deal with this because her soul, as well as this one son, was playing out a contract with her soul family that would allow all of them to deepen their faith and trust while grow in consciousness. Okay. So their soul family had a soul assignment or life lesson or homework built around faith and trust. Well, the first son to come through her reading showed me that he died of cerebral palsy at the age of 16, okay? And his younger brother, who was still alive, he got involved in drugs, which resulted in him intentionally overdosing at the age of 23, okay? So she has one son, dies of a illness at the age of 16, and then years later, the other son, who couldn't cope, died of a drug overdose at the age of 23. So he shared in the reading that the son who died of the overdose, he struggled with survivor's guilt on top of using drugs as a mean to numbing his overwhelming unprocessed grief. There was a tremendous amount of regret around not reaching out for the professional help that he needed. Well, the son with cerebral palsy explained that nobody failed him. He wasn't meant to live past his exit point at age 16. It was divinely designed this way to offer his surviving family members the opportunity to learn the lesson around faith, okay? As Spirit has explained in so many readings, it's in tragic events like this, it forces us to go one of two ways. We either go closer to God and guides and spirit, whatever you want to call it, which ultimately is faith and trust, moving more deeply into our hearts and our souls, okay, as a way to make sense of it and to find meaning and purpose and heal. Or we move further away, causing us to become hardened and jaded, shutting down our hearts and usually losing our faith, trust, and losing our way altogether. In this case, the second son to die by suicide, essentially, with overdose, he fell into the latter case and he failed to learn the lesson at hand. However, they came through, both boys, explaining how the first son, which he called himself an earth angel, was now acting as a spirit guide to the remaining living brother, okay, now in his late 20s. And he was there to redeem the family karma by doing and being better, okay, helping the living brother to rise up into his highest and best self and do and be better, which in turn was helping his brother in spirit to forgive himself, okay? So the second son who died of the overdose, he was helping, the living brother was helping him to heal on the other side. So this mom shared that her living son was somehow thriving in his life, despite all the hardship and pain that they have been through. Okay, she said this son was very spiritually aware, okay, and carrying on both his brother's legacies by being involved in foundations that centered around their life experiences, okay, supporting causes that related directly back to both the brothers. And she said that he gets vivid dreams from them both, okay, often, and that he relies on them through the dreams and through his prayer meditation practice for support and guidance in his life. So, this son, it's been explained, is not an actual earth angel, but he is working with his brother in spirit who is an earth angel. And in turn, he's helping the other brother in spirit to heal. So at the end of the day, these types of old souls, okay, that we can call earth angels, they know that there's no such thing as death. It's all an illusion. Energy doesn't die. It just changes form. And that we will all be back together again. And that until that day comes, we can continue to be together as we connect on the frequency of love,